Welcome back, fellow Dream Warriors, to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Zeztz Episode 6, brought to you by Cardboard. So, everybody, Baku is once again in jail, but he is not alone, because you have Nem and you have two other people with them. And Nem introduces them as her parents, Raiko and Bijoji. And Baku is in shock, like, oh my god, you have parents? Your parent is in my dream? Oh my god, this could be a sign that, they could be my in-laws. It has to be fate. He doesn't say that, of course, but the way he was trying to impress his quote-unquote future in-laws, come on, dude. It's obvious what you're trying to do here. So from the moment, Nem told Baku about, hey, these are my parents, this is where you see him be all sly and be like all happy and cool, and he decides this is the opportunity to show off in front of them. And so he takes off his prison gear, and you see him in his spy outfit, and with his snap of his fingers, the chains and the collars are off. And so he does the snap of the fingers, and their chains are off. And once again, he uses his fingers to, unlock the cell, and they make their prison break. And this is something that I've noticed, is that, hey, they're in prison. Shouldn't be there, guards around. But apparently there's no guards around, but there are booby traps. So they are at the highest level, and their goal is to go to the first level to escape. So you see Baku, Nem, and her parents running through levels, and in every single level they encounter, there's always these traps. And so thanks to Baku's, calciums, he was able to defeat the traps, deflect them, and go through them safely. And the parents got tired, so they figured, hey, can we stop here for a while, catch our breaths, and relax for a bit? And Baku agreed, like, yeah, let's just stop here. And guess what level they stopped at? Level 7. I'm like, Yuya, come on, man. I know what you're trying to do. I saw that. I'm like, of course. Of course they had to stop at level 7. So as the parents are taking a breather, Baku took the opportunity to talk to Nem about, her parents, and hey, has any of them have any problems in the real world that I should know about? Because, I need to find a dreamer and protect them, that sort of thing. I need to do my hero spy stuff, and I need some information. And Nem just shocks Baku once again by saying, I don't know, they're not my real parents. And be like, really? And you see in the real world with Baku, it's like, it's just so funny when he gets shocked. In the real world, you have these weird reactions to it. But in any case, Baku gets shocked to know that, they are not her real parents. And he wonders that, okay, so I have this mystery now. Who can be the dreamer in this case? Who's the one that has the problems? So he takes the picture and he wakes up. So he wakes up, and you see Baku gets greeted by a cold wind, and he realizes that once again the window is open. And it could only be one thing. So he looks at the closet, and he realizes that, yeah, it's open. So yeah, it's bootleg Mulder and Scully. And before we move into the office, I have to say, Baku made a list of being a good agent, brush your teeth, exercise, and all that. So I thought it was very cute in Baku's case. I actually thought at first it was either Mulder wrote that spy list, whatever, but it has to be Baku. Or it could be even funnier if it was Zero. But no, we haven't seen Zero in his robot form yet because he is in hiding, but eventually he's going to reveal himself to bootleg Mulder and Scully. And speaking of, Baku is dressed because remember the last time he was not dressed. He was in his boxer shorts, and seeing how Mulder and Scully is really, making themselves their home, their office is just like, come on, you're invading Baku's personal space. In any case, he is dressed. He goes and greets Mulder and Scully with disgust because the moment he went inside, he just looks at them and like, oh, crap, of course it was them. I mean, Baku, come on. They don't know the first thing about a door. They don't even know what a door is. They're going to keep breaking and entering through your window. Get used to it. Yuya, bring back the truck. That's bring back the paranormal truck. Come on. Please. You can't keep doing this to your character. You cannot. Because if I were Baku, I'd be like, come on, guys. Have you ever heard of a door? You can lie to my sister. Just come on. I just feel so uncomfortable of you guys using my window. Like, worst case scenario, what if I'm mistaking you as a thief? I'm just saying. But in any case, it was good morning. And Mulder tells Baku that, hey, we have a new black case. Scully gives Baku information about this weird symbol that appeared in the quarry in Okutama. It's not really a crop circle, but I'm just going to call it a crop circle. And Baku realizes that, wait a minute, that's the same symbol that I saw in my dream. And he shows off the picture to the agents. And this is where Mulder and Scully is scrambling to find any information about these people. And as they were looking for information, Baku goes to the slot machine and gets 2 new capsules, the machinery and projection capsiums. And then, unfortunately, there was no information about these people in the police database. So Baku figured, okay, if they don't have any information in the database, there's only one person that I can go to for that said information, and is his sister Minami. So we get to the next scene where Baku is showing off the picture of, hey, do you know who these people are? And Minami answered, yeah, I know this guy. He is the president of NEM's talent agency. And she adds, like, I run into him from time to time because he oversees the shoots. And Baku is like, hey, is it possible if I can join you in one of your shoots? And of course, Minami is like, why do I need to take you? Like, I'm not going to take you. And we have this moment between siblings, and Baku's like, please take me, please. No, take me, no. So I find it to be funny. But we get to the next scene, and we get sponsored by cardboard. Because in this scene, you see Baku and Minami, and they're in the middle of a shoot, and they're seeing 2 actors talking about cardboard. And then you see the president of NEM's agency, Bijoji, and they all 3 of them greet each other, and Baku notices that, hey, he doesn't recognize me. So is it possible that he could not be the dreamer? But in any case, Bijoji doesn't recognize Baku, but Baku recognized him. And, we get this origin story about how NEM came to be. Apparently, Bijoji went to this orphanage 8 years ago and saw NEM, and instead of seeing her as a daughter, he saw her as a money grab. He actually said she's worth $8 million. And so he adopted her, and this is where he asked NEM, hey, do you want to audition to be a child model? And the rest is history. And thanks to that, his agency became very popular, very rich, and that sort of thing. And so, after the origin story, Baku realized that Nem never mentioned Bijoji, running her agency, being the president of it all. So Baku's like, why didn't she add the fact that, hey, my adopted father is the president of the agency that I work for? I wonder why. So he goes back to the office and gives the information back to Mulder and Scully with new added information that apparently Bijoji divorced his wife just yesterday. And this is where Mulder claims that he has solved the case. And as he was telling, his story of how he solved the mystery, Scully just whispers to Baku, like, he's being biased. Just humor him, okay? And Baku's like, yeah, it's fine. So, Mulder says to both Scully and Baku that Bijoji is the dreamer who is dreaming about being Nem's parent. He wishes that him and his wife could be a real family, but the trauma of the divorce has him dreaming of a family life that he will never have. There you go, case solved. And just like Baku, I'm just like, I wish it was that simple, but it's not the case, because remember last week, he thought that the bride was in a arranged marriage. She was marrying a guy that she doesn't love, but it wasn't the case at all. She was just afraid of heights and just doesn't want to go on a plane. That's pretty much what the case ended with. Here, I wouldn't be surprised. It's something similar. Like, no, Mulder, you're way off. I wish it was that simple, but no. So, Mulder puts Baku in charge of this black case to confirm what he said is true. So he goes to Dreamland and returns to confront Nem as to why didn't she tell him about, Bijoji being the president of her agency. And Nem, you can tell that she doesn't want to talk about it. She was just like, well, I may have missed, like, I thought it wasn't important, it's just, no, I thought it wasn't important, that's all, that's it. But Baku was really pressuring her and urging her, can you please tell me what you know? Because if you don't, how can I protect the dreamer from the impending nightmare that is coming? How can I protect everybody if I don't have the information I need? Can you please help me? Because you know what's at stake here. And Nem knows this, and she yells at him like, I understand you're trying to help us, but I just don't like the fact of you meddling into my private affairs. And Baku is like taking it back on it. I'm like, oh my God, like, I didn't mean to pry. It's just I need some information. That's it. And Nem knows this, and she apologizes, and she just runs away. And as she runs away, Baku, Bijoji, and Reiko was like, Nem, come back. It's not safe. So they're chasing after her all the way to the first level. They chase her to the first level. She opens the door, and lo and behold, it's a warehouse, the Toei warehouse. Because if you've seen Kamen Rider and Sentai long as I have, you will definitely recognize that warehouse. Toei uses that warehouse all the time. I know. It's like, oh yeah, it's the Toei warehouse. So they quote unquote escape the prison, and they landed themselves at the Toei warehouse, and Nem gets greeted by this nightmare, And Baku steps in, uses his new capsium, the machinery capsium, to become Zeztz machinery, and he easily destroys the machine. And he's like, wow, this is one of the easiest missions I ever done in my life so far. But then his victory was short-lived as Nox makes his grand entrance. And this is where they officially meet face to face. And he does his evil monologue, and he does his magic. He repairs the machine and makes another one. And as Baku is fighting those two machine monsters, Nox does, this evil monologue where he says, where they are is in an inescapable prison of death. For those who seek only in dreams will never arrive at the truth. And Baku notices the symbol on top of these machines. And with a swipe of his sword to a random spot at the warehouse, you hear a roar. And this is where Baku realizes that, wait a minute, these monsters are not the nightmare that I'm looking for. It's the prison itself. And he says that we're inside the nightmare itself. And Nox adds that until the day you die, you will remain in this prison looking for a way out that doesn't exist. And then you see a scene where, these doors are open, and one of the mine doors are open as well, which leaves one of them sealed out for now. And he adds, everybody has secrets that they cannot tell anybody. They seek to escape from that pain. And we go to, the parents, the adopted parents, Raiko and Bijoji. Raiko is in panic mode after listening to what Nox said, and she's like, "Oh, great! So we're trapped here forever. There's no escape. How are we gonna escape?" She's in panic mode. While Bijoji was in the opposite, and he's like, "Well, if we cannot escape, at least we're here together. We could live here together." And he turns to Nem and be like, hey, we could be a family and we could live here forever. And Nem is like, are you nuts? Like, no. So Bijoji just grabs Nem and makes his escape to the door. And what's funny of that scene is that when he grabbed Nem and makes his escape, he pushes his ex-wife out of the way. I found it to be very funny about the way he pushed her out of the way. I'm like, get away from me, bitch. I'm going to take my adopted daughter and we're going to live in this prison forever. And Baku's like, wait a minute, old man. Where are you taking Nem? Where are you taking her? And, he tried to go after them, but he gets blocked by these monsters. So, yeah, he couldn't do anything. So we get to the real world where we get to see Mulder and Scully questioning Raiko, the ex-wife, in the real world. And, she briefly said, well, that man changed ever since the accident 4 years ago. And that's all we have there because, of course, they're going to save it until the next episode. And then the last scene, you see Bijoji in his office sleeping, and you can tell that he's having a nightmare with all the groaning, like, And as he continues to, experiencing his nightmare, we end the episode with this creepy shrine of Nem, his adopted daughter. And that's how the episode ends. Talk about a twist. Seriously, because my God, Bijoji, he's not like, yes, that's Nem's adopted father, but he doesn't treat Nem as a daughter at all. He treats her as, money. And I wouldn't be surprised Nem doesn't want to say anything to Baku about, her personal relationship with him. Because, it must have been awful. And I'm sure Nem is like, come on, Dad. Like, do you see me as a daughter, or do you see me just a means to get you more money? And I'm getting this vibe, it's just a means to getting him more money. And of course, there's going to be more to it than that, but I wouldn't be surprised that that's part of the answer. But yeah, Bijoji is a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm like, come on. The moment he went into the orphanage, saw Nem as a little girl 8 years ago, and says she's worth X amount of dollars and not a potential daughter and all that stuff, I'm like, come on. That's not fatherly, in my opinion. But give me your thoughts and opinions about that. Do you see Bijoji as a terrible father for just viewing Nem as moneybags? Or there's something else entirely? Because I just think he's a piece of caca. It reminds me of Gozaburo and Kaiba and how they met in the orphanage and all that, and the truth. For those who've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Already knows. Yeah, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! All over again, guys. In Kamen Rider form. But in any case, guys, have you seen the episode? Which I hope you guys did. And did you like it? Do you like the plot twists here and there and all that? Did I miss anything? Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things here and there. So, if you liked the episode, comment. If you didn't like the episode, comment as well. That sort of thing. Just write in the comments below. And give a like if you like it. And please subscribe. And I'll see you all on the other side of cardboard. Johnny! Brought to you by Cardboard.